Yay, we're making the Chicago connections here. I just hit the record button, so we're now starting the broadcast for those of us who aren't tuning in live. Welcome. It's Monday, April 22nd. We just made a little introduction here between Lauren and Jen, who are both in the Chicago area. Very excited to be back in regular mode where I'm not running any virtual conferences or speaking at conferences or traveling, just plain old Tony at home in his new home. So I'm very excited to settle in and figure out what to do next with this group and all the other fun stuff. So, and we can work on that together a little bit as well. Um, Last week at Juicy, I had an awesome time. I got to see a few of you, and just to stay on the Chicago topic, I also learned that Jen and Jessica are forming an alliance, which is super exciting. So excited to see how that goes. Jen, do you want to just say a quick hello and intro, thoughts on Juicy, and comments on the alliance?
Yeah, absolutely. And I apologize for the background noise. I have my ear pods on today, so I can't do the cafe thing.
Yeah.
So Juicy was incredible. As always, I got a big old thunderbolt of inspiration, big plans ahead. It's going to happen. I'm so excited. But my favorite thing about it was just, seeing everybody in three-dimensional life instead of online. Three-dimensional Tony is much better than Tony in a box. And the same goes for everyone else that is there, and I just mostly talk to online. Yeah, it was just a really wonderful experience. Great presentations. I actually stayed at the Women Who Co-work house, which those of you who are female founders, I highly recommend that you check out Women Who Co-work. They've got an active Facebook group, and then they just launched a website as well, full of resources. Hey, Jeff. So as Tony said, we didn't start an alliance. Jessica started an alliance. So Jessica has started the first Chicago co-working alliance. There hasn't been one until now, so I'll let her talk about it now that she's on. Let's see. On my mind right now, I've got a potential angel investor. I decided I'm going to ask her for $50,000, and I just need to figure out all of my specifics around that. So, and today's the day off. So, and after this call, I'm going to go bum around this little neighborhood and enjoy some time off. So that's that. Thanks.
Yay, Jen. You guys are going to build an empire. I'm so excited to see it happen. And just for the folks who are new to this call, so we're going to do a round of introductions. You're going to tell us your name and where you are, a quick update on what's going on in your world. And then we'll get into a hot seat time where anybody who has a particular thing that they want to focus on in this call will have an opportunity for you to do so. So we usually hit at least one or two, sometimes three topics in the course of this hour. And now we're in introductions, and the introductions tend to basically go by way of whatever order people are in on my screen. But since Jen was the first one on my screen and she had a lot to say, she's going first, and then we're going to go to Jessica. And then we'll go to our new friend Kyle. So, oh no, Jessica stepped away. Jessica has gone invisible mode. She is a blank wall. All right, in that case, let's just jump right over to Kyle, and then we can loop back to Jessica. Kyle, introduce yourself. Tell us where you are. Tell us what your deal is. Who is Kyle Lehman?
Hey guys, my name is Kyle Lehman. I'm from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Grew up the past 6 years I've been a professional photographer and decided to start the co-working space to, figure out a team that I could build. We're going to be running the model of creative co-working, but also building an agency out of that creative co-working space as well, to handle some bigger projects. Our services basically offer anything from photographers, writers, front-end developers, videographers. We've only been open 3 weeks, and we just broke 32 members on Friday, so we are capped. We have no more room.
Amazing. Okay, Kyle, you're going to have to tell us a little bit more about the secret magic behind your community building skills at some point. Congrats on that. And we definitely got to connect you with Lauren and Adam as well in the Chicago area, since they're in kind of a similar space. So
awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we're going to go to Jennifer and then Christina. Jennifer in Houston, how is life over there? What's going on?
Things are good. We have an event coming up in May that it's called Spread, or I think that's what they're calling it. We're trying to bring in local people who are starting at their business, and you get 4 hours to try to make a dent in the work that needs to get done, and then you come back together into a round table and bounce ideas off of one another and stuff like that. So we're preparing for that, as well as a new reopening kind of sense, because we're getting a new sign up for our building. We have promotions going out, and we've actually had a couple people call in and do tours so far. So crossing fingers that we get our space filled, because we need it. It's been 2 months too long already.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're on the right track with that event. Do you have a link? Is it public? Can we see it?
I don't know. I know Alba is like really focused on that. That is her baby, and I'm only helping like with material products right now. I don't want to touch her baby, so
Okay.
I'm letting her take a hold of that, and I'll just get like the refreshments and food and stuff like that. Everything else is under me.
Okay. All right, cool. I got some thoughts on what we can do there. So I'll make a note for us to come back to that.
Okay, cool.
Great. Christina, how are things going with you? What's going on?
It's good. I'm in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. So again, I am one of 3 co-working spaces in our city. So we're a little slow on the uptake on getting this community stuff going. But it's exciting. I've partnered with our Regina Downtown Business Improvement District to do some outdoor programming this summer. So 2 days a week, we're creating an outdoor workspace in a park downtown. So entrepreneurs can come out of their offices and sit outside, and there'll be Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So it's nice because now that I have a co-working space, I was like, damn it, I don't get to be outside in the nice summer months in Canada. So I kind of created this for me too, selfishly. Just opportunity for people to get outside. So we're just looking at what that program is going to be like. Is it going to be like a formal networking thing, or is it just people come out in the park and hang out and get some work done? So that's exciting. And then we have some I'm rallying up the local media to do some on location filming, and just to get the education about what co-working is still going. That messaging's taken a lot longer. I'm stuck in that spot a lot longer than I thought I needed to be. So so that's just where I'm at, I guess, with the evolution of building these kinds of spaces. So
Great. And in terms of first of all, congrats on scoring that deal. I mean, that's a fun idea, and especially in a city where there's not a lot of co-working already, to do something so visible and public and free and just kind of something that's going to shake things up is probably a great way of increasing the mind share of what co-working is. So that's cool. Are you planning on doing specific programming in that space to kind of, to activate it as more of like an actual gathering of people that like meet each other?
Yeah, well, I have 2 ideas. One, I want to use our members as experts, almost like prof hours in school, right? Like, so this person is an expert in this. They're going to be here on this day. Come bring your questions. Kind of not a formal talk, but just formal expertise, I think, available to people. And then the other thing I was thinking of doing was just like a random meet your neighbor, like this block and this block, your day is this, come meet the people who work in the tower across from you that you've probably never met before, and get an understanding of who is in this space, right? We all go downtown to work, but we probably don't know all the different businesses and who the people are. So that one's going to take a lot more work to get done, and I don't know if people are going to be excited or not, maybe not want to do it, but we have some lead time to maybe knock on a couple of doors and see if they're open to that.
Yeah, I think anything that's, even if you can even if you can decrease the amount of labor required to get it done, anything that you can do to really create some active sense of place and connection during specific time periods, because I saw one of these kind of public workspace installations in Boulder and in New York, and they're really cool as design, like workspace design kind of demos, right? But 9 times out of 10, a person just kind of wanders up and is like, oh, this is neat, and then they walk away, right? So like we need that kind of sense of like, come at 10 o'clock or come at 2 o'clock, and there's going to be this thing. And, so any way that you can create a sense of place is going to be super helpful. Would love to chat more with you, in more detail. So I'm just making a note. See if we can,
for sure.
Cool. Tamara, how are things with you?
Oh, am I unmuted? I thought I was muted. Okay.
You are unmuted now.
Hi, I'm Tamara. I own Ensemble. We're in Fort Worth. We've been open 3 years. We just nixed an expansion to Arlington. I tell them tomorrow. I tell them tomorrow, and I'm working on another deal with Burleson. So I made my final decision, obviously. And we are doing a small business showcase resource. Small business resource showcase on May 9th during National Small Business Week with the BBB Fort Worth. We're having about 15 to 20 specific invite-only vendors. And here's something really cool. For the money that the vendors are spending, we're going to be doing a scholarship for attendees. So one attendee will win a mentoring and workspace scholarship for 6 months. So so we're going to use that to get some press. Hopefully, I'm working on the press release for that. And again, I'm working with the BBB here in Fort Worth. So that's good because they're pushing this out as well. So that's really cool. I don't think I told you guys last week that I launched an internet radio show last Thursday.
What?
It went really well, and I'm excited. It's given me, I think, as 3 years in. So for those of you who are new, I'm feeling a little burnt out, and so this has given me a little bit of revitalization and excitement because it's taken me back to what we're all about here at Ensemble, which is resources, connections, collaboration. And helping entrepreneurs grow their business through connections, collaboration, and community. So really excited about that.
That is so amazing, Tamara. So where do we find it?
So you can go on Facebook and type in TREP Connect. And that we have a Facebook page, and then we also have a Facebook group, which is open to everybody. This is not just, so the purpose of this is to talk about resources that entrepreneurs, small business owners need to grow their business. You can listen weekly on Thursdays at 2 o'clock on JOCO Community Radio, which is JOCO communityradio.com. They have a click here and watch it live. So you can actually watch it. It runs live on Facebook, but it also is on TuneIn Radio. So if you open the TuneIn Radio app and you go to JOCO Community Radio, you can listen in live there. So if you're not at your computer, you can just listen on TuneIn Radio right on your phone.
Awesome. Tamara, congrats. And congrats on the Knot expansion.
Thank you. I'm very excited about it. You know what? Honestly, when I got off the call with you guys last week, it was really what I needed to kind of solidify. I just needed that one, those other voices saying, yes, what my gut is telling me is the right thing to do.
I'm really, really glad to hear it, Tamara. I'm sure it's a load off your shoulders.
Yes.
And look at you already filling in your opportunity cost with something that makes you feel good. This radio show. That's great.
Yeah. So I gotta do potty break. So I'll be back.
All right. Thursdays at 2 o'clock Eastern, I believe, right? So, or is it Central? 2 o'clock Central? Yeah, Central. All right, cool. All right, let's keep it moving. We got, we got Taylor in the house, and then we got Penny. Taylor, what's going on in your world?
Hi, it's me over in Memphis, Tennessee. I have some bad news. So I've been trying to start a co-working alliance in Memphis and message all the other co-working spaces, and only really one community manager was interested, and we really hit it off. We had a great time. We didn't really make a lot of progress because we ended up just kind of helping each other with the co-working thing. But he is no longer at his space. He took a job somewhere else. So I'm kind of on my own again. And I'm thinking to myself, I literally just said this as we were sitting here. If no one else is really interested in doing a formal alliance, I might just start my own, I don't know, Facebook page or something and just share everyone else's events and promote their spaces myself. And if they like it, they can hop on, but if not, whatever.
I love it, like your force-fed generosity. Like I'm gonna be nice to you whether you like it or not.
I just want, like, Memphis is really slow with the co-working movement, and I just want to really push the whole movement along. I don't care about like the competition between the spaces, none of that. I just want Memphis to care about co-working. So if I have to do it myself, I'll just do it myself.
Amazing.
Taylor,
Amazing.
that's beautiful. It is. That's beautiful. Cool.
Yeah, so I hope, I mean, I won't have the goal of like getting, you know, I think there's 8 spaces here. So I don't have a goal of like, well, one person's going to come on by the end of this quarter. I'm just going to go with it. But yeah, thank you. Other than that, I am possibly switching co-work management software. I'm on Cobot right now, and I have a what's it called? A Zoom meeting or whatever tomorrow with Office R&D because I've heard so many good things. And there's some things with Cobot that create a lot of like additional administration on me, and I'm not really collecting like the data, and there's some disconnect in our community because no one really uses our Slack. And I think with Office R&D, everything's kind of centralized, and I can see the potential for improving our community here.
That's a big undertaking if you do end up going that way, I think, right? Have you looked into kind of what it would take to transfer the accounts and all that?
So I've done it once before. We used to be on Nexodus when it was Co-work Memphis before my nonprofit came in and took over the space in running programs here. It was a real pain, but I also had to do it. It really rushed the last time. And this time I would pretty much have all the time in the world, but I'm going to kind of figure it out tomorrow during my meeting and see if it's worth it or not, because it is a lot of work.
All right, fair enough. Well, keep us posted on how it goes. Does anybody have anybody here on Office R&D? No? All right. So you might need to pull the group if you want to talk to any more folks. I'm sure you're not going to have any trouble with that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Penny, how are things going in your world?
Good. I had my first work sprint on Friday, and 2 people came, which is, I don't know, it was kind of interesting. You guys have all been talking about work sprints. I'd never even heard of it before you guys were talking about it. And, you know, it was interesting because it was very effective. People got, 5 times as much done during our work sprint as they normally would during that period of time at home. And then 2 of these people who I'd known met each other, and they're some of the people who are committed to this whole co-working space, my co-working space moving forward. So that was good. And I've got them now programmed routinely, like every Friday for a while. So that's good. I'm also planning my next open house, which is this coming Saturday. Again, it's going to be at Radius Cowork. The last time we had an open house there, it was very impactful. And Sean Fedorko gave a tour of Radius because, as many of you know, if you're in a small community, people don't get co-working. And so to have my open house at a co-working space, because Sean is so good at explaining, what the hell a co-working space. And then this week I've got to decide, I think I've decided, yes, to sign an option on my lease. So I'm getting a 3-month option. Maybe I meant to mention this last week. So I'll get a 3-month option, hopefully get my ducks in a row so I have people to sign up with me so that in 3 months, by the time I'm ready to sign the actual lease, 3 months or sooner, then I'll have people ready to go and feel good about my commitment moving forward.
Gotcha. Great. I'm really glad to see you getting the gears turning in terms of community building pre-launch. It's so important. And I'm such a big fan of work sprints, so I'm really glad to see you doing that as well. Curious how you can grow that community from the 3 of you, to start attracting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people to it. Do you think that those two are going to come back? Do you think that they would invite other people to come to the next one, that kind of thing?
I think they are coming back. Other people have expressed an interest. We're trying to get the word out. I got somebody else last week who said that she's committed to being a community member. So I've got therapist members and community members. Anyway, community members are the low level, just for the community, obviously. But anyway, so I got somebody else who said she's invited, she said yes to community member, not just interested. So I'm really trying to track who has said yes. And I said, I feel like I'm barraging her with emails. She said, no, I'm reading every single email. You are not barraging me with emails. It's all interesting. I just haven't been able to come yet because nothing coordinated with my schedule. So I am getting some positive feedback that way.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah. The more that you can kind of keep those conversations going, the better. And, if you've got your list of like the people to hit up and you're messaging them directly and they're, if they can't come, then fine, then find out, how to, what kind of adjustment you can make to get them there in terms of the schedule or whatever it takes. Right.
Yes.
Awesome. But you're off to a great start, and getting those few people in there is a big help. Okay. So we've done introductions and we've got some time to talk about some stuff. I'd love to actually bounce back to Jennifer and talk about the program you guys are working on. I think it relates to what Penny was just saying, and we'd heard a couple of programming conversations. Does anybody else have anything that they would like for our collective brain power to direct towards today? Now is your chance to make a request. Tamara, I see Tamara raising her hand. All right, Tamara, what's up? And Jen?
Well, I'd like to ask a little bit about those of you who have had guests at your work sprint, how you've gotten them, number one. And then I'd like to talk about how to actually monetize these events, because I had it as a paid event and I couldn't get people coming. We do have our members coming and we have some guests coming every now and then. So I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Okay, great. Jen, oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, as a jump off on that, what things do we monetize and what things don't we monetize, right? Because like what I've learned from all you guys is, okay, we just have to keep getting people to come into the space over and over and over again so that we always have new potential customers. And so somehow we have to be inviting people into our space without monetizing it. But then some things, of course, we do want to monetize, and talking about that would be good.
This is an awesome topic, and I actually cover it in my Juicy presentation from last week. So I'm going to pull up my presentation, and maybe I'll just show you a couple of slides from it, because it's a it's a tricky topic, and it's important for us to get figured out for sure. Okay, Jen, did you also have a topic you wanted to cover?
Yes, best practices for taking on a smaller investor, an angel investor, how to pay them back, how to make it worth their while, etc.
Okay, great. Cool. All right, so this is great because I wanted to talk with Jen about her event and this conversation about what to make free and how to kind of create that pipeline. I think it's all interconnected. So that's good. Jen, first of all, sorry, I keep calling you Jen, Jennifer. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you and the team are working together in terms of community building? Because it sounded like you had said something about how Alba's it's her baby and that's her event. And I just went on your website. I didn't see anywhere where I could see events. So how are you guys approaching kind of community building and all of that as a team?
I honestly don't know how she came up with setting it up and having the list that she has. I know she has about 7 to 8 people so far already set up or signed up. I don't remember the website that she went through. It was something that she came in and told me about last week, right before we all went on our 3-day vacation. I'm trying to remember the website that she said that she used. And you're right, I didn't see it on our website itself as well. So I don't know how the two are linking up. for us, like within our space. Like I said, she just came in last week as an update and said, hey, this is what we're doing on, you know, future events. I know she also is working with a local bakery, like right down the road from where we are. And she has them set up for this event, as well as the reopening, or when we get our sign put up. And then for one other event that we're going to do with our next door neighbors, who is a dry cleaning service. And they've been helping out a lot with, you know, trying to get our name out there too, because a lot of people ask, what is our building? Our building doesn't have a name on it. They do see cars in our parking lot, but it's not advertised outside. So they do help us out with that a lot. They inform their customers who are coming and going, and that's how we get a lot of our tours, or even the interest into our space. But they haven't really stuck.
It sounds, it would be so fun to mess with people and tell everyone that you're like a CIA front operation, and it's all like well, we're into security stuff, but I can't really say anything more. Okay, cool. So I think I want to just jump right into a couple of slides from my talk, and I think that's going to help for you, Jennifer, and just for this conversation in general. Before we do jump into those slides, I'll just say this is a very common problem. There's no utterly super clear answer, but there is a construct that we can work with that you can start fitting your various programs into, and then experimenting with it, and then seeing if there's a place where it starts to drop off. And essentially, we've got this problem of, what do we make totally free, open to the public? What do we make totally members only? What do we put in between, where maybe we charge for it? Maybe it's free or discounted for the members versus you charge more for non-members, that kind of thing. And it can just be a lot to manage, right? Especially if you're trying to create a bunch of programming, and there's not necessarily, it's not necessarily immediately obvious. But what we do want to do is have, even if we don't know what the exact right scheme is, we want to have a scheme, because it's very easy to fall into just giving everything away to everybody, and then there's no reason for anybody to join, or saying, well, no, everything's members only, and then there's no way for people to get onboarded. And so a few different ways of approaching it, but we want to, I think, for any co-working space, at least have something for each of the three categories. And it's not that much programming to get it done. So let me see about, it's tricky to do a presentation on here. You're not going to see my cute builds, but that's okay. All right, I'm just going to show you my screen. You guys have my keynote presentation on your screen now? Somebody say yes. Okay. All right. Oh, I see the heads nodding now.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Sorry, I see. Now I can see your heads nodding. Okay, good. All right. So I presented this thing called an invitation funnel, and just imagine that I'm building this now. But the idea is that you want to start with something that can be free and open to the public forever. And it could be weekly, it could be monthly, but it's something that is very easy to just invite everybody to that you meet. And so in the course of this presentation, I had just created, for the sake of conversation at the event, the idea of a Muffin Meditation Monday. It was inspired by one of our members who did such, well, she didn't do meditation, but she did do a blueberry muffin meetup, and it was super successful. But the idea was that we created something that was super easy, super simple. You could delegate it without any effort whatsoever. And it was a nice way to just get people in the building, hanging out and talking to each other. People are simple creatures. So if you tell them, hey, I've got the best muffins in town by the local baker, who is this amazing baker who has this incredible story, whatever, that you really play up the delicious carbohydrates that are going to be available at this event, and you add a bit of a twist for a personal, some kind of personal improvement thing, then you're going to have a really good formula for bringing people together for an event. Actually, stepping back in my presentation a little bit, this was your kind of 5-step sequence to getting people in the door, especially when they don't know what the heck a co-working is. Right now, they don't need to know what co-working is. They just need to know what delicious baked goods are. So if they know what delicious baked goods are and you tell them that they can have some if they come visit, then you're going to get them in the door. They're going to get curious, and then things are going to get better. And the other thing about, I'm just diving into the muffin thing for a moment. The other thing about this is that they meet each other. One of the problems that we have with the tour and with kind of the come look at our space format is that people come in one at a time and they see the space and they don't build a relationship to anybody else. And so the kind of scrolling back, like the way that I went through this presentation was I first went through what it looks like when you're going through a space that's just renting workspace. And then the fact that you basically come in for a tour and it's boring and people don't really enjoy it, and every space is a printer and nobody cares, and that there's no culture and that sucks, right? And so the opposite of this is creating that thing that is, instead of a tour, it's a catch. It's the blueberry muffin breakfast mixer, and that's a thing that their friends can invite their friends to, right? So that your members can invite their friends to. And so having this catch-all event that you just know is going to be free forever, and it's really easy to run, and it's always the first Monday or every Monday or whatever it is, and that's your beginning of your funnel. That's fine, that's great, but now what do we do to actually get people to want to come in and start to develop a co-working relationship with your space? So then we get into the special invite. And again, you can make this any of a number of things. This could be a show and tell, for example. It could be some other internal member event, a lunch and learn, something like that. I think a work sprint is a really great example of this. And you can do public free work sprints as well. But if you have a work sprint that takes place in your space for members, then what's fun about it is that when somebody's at the muffin thing and they say, hey, this looks really fun, I'd like to come check out your space, what's the deal? You can say, well, our work sprint starts in an hour. Stick around for the work sprint and maybe get some work done. We're going to help you focus. We're going to help you be more productive, blah, 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 right? And it's a members thing. You can buy a day pass if you'd like, but since it's your first time here, here's my little token for you to come hang out for free, right? And then now they're getting the sense of, ooh, this thing has value, but I'm getting it for free because this person is being nice to me. I'm gonna value this and check it out. And maybe they can't join that day, but now they got the token and you could say, hey, come back next week if you want to, right? And ideally they're coming in every month or every week for the muffin meditation event, right? So they're constantly getting that next opportunity to stick around for the work sprint. But the work sprint is a members thing. And you could just pay for the day pass to come to it, but it has value. But you're still giving it away. And that is, I think, a really important critical difference, is to say, hey, there's this thing that has value. And if you were just a stranger coming in, off the website or something, we'd be charging you for it. But since you showed up and we met and now we're friendly, you can come to this thing and we're not going to charge you for it. So you're kind of giving somebody that hook. And then there's the upgrade to say, well, if you enjoyed it, wow, you were so productive and you met some of our members and they helped you be more focused and productive, blah, blah, blah. Come back next week. We do these every week. Will I see you there? ? Right? There's a halal guy in New York who was right on the corner of my co-working space, who was such a good salesman because all he did was when he handed me the food and I handed him the money and I said, thanks, he said, thanks, see you tomorrow. And he let that pregnant pause just hang there. And the problem with that pregnant pause was I had to decide in that moment, am I going to say yes and lie to him? Am I going to say, no, I'm not going to get lunch from you? Or am I going to say yes and then come back? Right? And just in that one 3-word phrase. Thanks. See you tomorrow. He got me. Like he legit got more halal out of me just because he asked that question every damn time. Right. So like that, he turned like 1 halal plate into like 6 halal plates just by asking that question. Really. So when you hook people on like, hey, you had a great work sprint, so see you next week. Like, okay, I'm not a super salesy guy, right? Y'all know this. I'm not like into like being super pushy, but like that's not crossing a moral line, right? That feels fair enough to ask. Yeah. I think we need to, especially, you know, if you're needing to build community, you know, be a little gently pokey, right? Especially if we're giving it away and giving them away something that we value. So I'm going to go back to the slides. So then there's the sense of, all right, now how is this person going to really convert to being a monthly committed member? And in this case, I'm using the example of the Codivation group. Some of you are new to this group, so you don't know what Codivation is, but I'll explain that just very briefly. That's my version of a mastermind group where you meet once a week, you set goals, and then you keep each other accountable to your goals. And so you do this on whatever cycle you want. The typical cycle is a 5-week cycle. So you set goals in the first week, and then you set interim goals, weekly goals to work towards that 5-week goal. And it is incredibly effective. It's really, really great at building relationships because people get vulnerable and they talk about what's going on and what they're struggling with, and then they help each other. And when people help each other when they're vulnerable, lifelong bonds are formed, and that's what we're in the business of. So if the work sprint thing is good and someone's starting to show up and maybe they're starting to pay for the day pass or whatever, the way you close the deal is by saying, I'm glad you're enjoying this. By the way, we're doing this thing where we dive even deeper. We really get to know you and your business, and we can help you grow. And then, you know, and maybe you're even offering them a coupon. You say, hey, the next cohort of Codivation starts May 1st. And so you can join anytime. You could join May 2nd, you could join October 2nd, but if you join May 1st, we're going to convene a group of people who are going to set goals, and it's going to be like your pop-up advisory team for your one-person business. And by the way, here's a $50 off coupon for your first month if you sign up on May 1st. Right? We're giving people that pipeline, and we're giving people that continued enticing, and we're creating urgency, which is so important, because one of the problems I mentioned in my talk is we don't have urgency if all we're doing is selling space. If you're just renting space, then you're always going to have it. It's there tomorrow, it's there next week. And so if I'm working from home and I think, man, that space was really cool, maybe I'll go sign up tomorrow. And then tomorrow I wake up and I see my emails and I get busy and I don't feel like putting on pants. Then I'm just going to work from home and I'm not going to spend that money, and I might never sign up. But if I'm not just signing up to rent your workspace, if I'm signing up because, wow, I'm working from home and I'm losing my mind and I don't know what the hell to do next, and there's a brain trust of creative people that I like who can help me, and if I join by a specific day, then I'm going to have a real reason to really sign up, then that's going to make it a lot more likely I'm going to convert. And it helps you to funnel your own recruiting efforts as well, to say, like, every stranger you meet on the street, invite them to the Blueberry thing. Everybody that shows up to Blueberry thing, invite them to the work sprint. Everybody who shows up to that, everybody else, you know, you say, by the way, sign up by May 1st. We've got this awesome new group that's forming, right? And that's like the closing May 1st, May 1st, May 1st, May 1st. And if you run that every couple of months, you know, you can always still do your regular sales stuff, but you've got these seasonal rhythms to say, you know, May 1st, July 1st, October 1st, whatever, those are the big member recruitment days when we kick off the next cohort of the thing. And I think that works. What do you guys think? Oh no, is everyone frozen? Have I been talking to myself? Okay. Oh, thank goodness. Who has a question or a comment?
I do. It seems like for me, I'm at this point where this is like 100% relevant, which is really cool. But so if I'm going to be signing for this space, at least the option for the space, then I've got to figure out some kind of a structure where I want people to sign up with me by a certain time. And so then they'll get some kind of a discount. But like in my mind, there's too many discounts. Like if somebody's going to sign up for a whole year, then there's a discount for signing up for a year. If they sign up by, June 1st, then there's a discount for signing up for June 1st. Like I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed by, what's going to be my base price and then how many discounts and can they accumulate discounts?
Yeah, so I would say, and I made this mistake when I first launched, and then when we relaunched in a new space, we corrected it. But you have to design in your pricing some margins so that you can discount it and feel good about it. And if somebody sees that you're offering basically the same discount in two different forms, so be it. If somebody is willing to prepay membership for a year and sign up before you open, yeah, maybe you do want to give them the best deal on earth because they're going to be critical to underpinning your security for the next year, right? So, maybe they stack, maybe they don't. You can decide on your own. But I think it's most important to just, if you need to make $300 a month for a full-time member, then list it on the website as $350 or $325, right? And then make sure that the only people who think the actual price is $350 is strangers who find you on the internet. Otherwise, every other person you meet, you say, hey, it's $300 if you sign up by the first, for the first 6 months or whatever it is, right? And so there's always some sense of urgency. Oh yeah, Jen, talk to us about your founding member pricing.
I have some too. I did too.
Good. Jen, yeah.
So our base price is $350 for unlimited a month. Our founding members were offered $315 a month, plus a lifetime 10% discount off of. So the $315 a month was for whatever they prepaid. So they could choose to prepay 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. If they prepaid for a year, I gave them a month for free. They also got a lifetime 10% discount going forward, as long as they kept up their membership. So if they decide to take a month off, sorry, you lose that. Yeah, that's what we did.
Nice. Tamara?
So we did, if they prepaid, here's the deal. Ultimately, Penelope, is you need to pick the 2 or 3 you're going to go with and go with it. Do you need cash flow right now? We did a prepaid deal because we needed cash flow. So we wanted people to get in and pay us. Now, so pay for a year up front, get 2 months free at the back end. So 14 months for 12. If you buy 6 months, you got 7 months. So your 7th month was free. They also got on our sponsor wall with a plaque that cost me, $4 to hang. It's plastic, PVC plastic. They got to put their cards in this special area. They kind of like that because everybody has to walk by there. And then you can figure out what kind of specials, but call them founding members, whether it's a prepaid founding member or it's founding member and they're locking in for 6 months versus month to month. So you know what your income's going to be, at least for 6 months, that you've got these people solidly with you for 6 months. So if you're going to offer deals, I wouldn't do it for less than a commitment, because we as the newbie owners, right, we need to know what our cash flow is going to be. And unfortunately, our month-to-month business model does not allow us to always know what our cash flow is going to be. So I think that's a good way to go about it. Pick 2 or 3 and be done with it. Yes, you could go a bunch of different routes, and you might work some back-end deals, which I always do anyway. Nobody needs to know what those are. You just better keep them straight somewhere in writing so you know what they are.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
And sorry, I just wanted to add too. So because I've only been open for a year, some members who stayed with me for the full year, I gave them like a discount as like a happy birthday anniversary kind of thing. Ooh. So don't get super caught up in worrying about it up front too. You can always offer it as like a thank you later, which they really appreciated because it was unexpected and it was just like a nice reward thing.
Can you tell us more about that bonus, like how you can, because that's an awesome idea. I've never heard of it. And I love the idea of celebrating people sticking around.
Yeah, so I made it up, obviously. But yeah, so we were open for a year, and I had 2 members who had started from day one with me that were still there. So I offered them a choice. I said, you can pick 20% off your next month invoice, or I'll buy you a present of like something you probably wouldn't spend on yourself for that dollar value amount. You pick. One picked a present, one picked the discount off their rent. And that's just something, and then I kept going. So then the next month there was another person who it was their anniversary. And so it's just been something we've been doing moving forward. And it's just creating some camaraderie around celebrating the people for being there and thanking them for being those, champions for our space. So, and it's like $75. Like it wasn't anything.
I love that, Christina. I love that. Here's something we did on our first year anniversary. We did a bonus box. I forgot what I called them, ensemble box. And I made little bills with my picture, mine and my business partner's picture in the middle. And we hid them around the space. And some were dollars, some were 20s, some were 50s. And we only had 2 100s. And it was a part of our party where they had to go find the ensemble box, and whatever they found, they got discounted off of their rent the next month.
Whoa.
And it was so much fun. Everybody loved it.
That's so much fun. That's great.
Yeah, it was just simple. Some people got $5, but to them, $5 was huge because it was the excitement of who got the most, who found the most.
Yeah, and there was this kind of act of play and discovering the space, and oh wow, awesome stuff. Yeah. It might also be worth identifying what your membership retention numbers look like in terms of how long does a member stay, and if you don't know it, you try to get a list of every member that's left, their start date, end date, and then do the math on what the average length of a membership is. And then if you find out, for example, that it does tend to be around 6 months, I think, give or take, for a space, then you can orient your reward around that. So if you say, well, let's celebrate when somebody's around for 6 months, and then that tries to kind of, get somebody to stick around for longer. One of the other things is what tends to happen is there's kind of this number of members that drop off after, 2 months or less. And there's a huge number of those. And then if they make it past 2 months, then they're more likely to stick around for more than 6 months, something like that. So maybe you could even have a mini celebration that happens on your 3rd month or something, something like that. And if it can be very visible to everybody, it's you get your own toast at the happy hour, that's once a month. And it's you get to pick a cocktail. Oh, a cocktail that's named after you. In your 3rd month as a member, right? Or a mocktail, right? Whatever it is. Then everybody sees it when they see it happening at the happy hour. So then they think ooh, I can't wait for my turn, and then that gives them a reason to stick around. Stuff like that, super, super effective. And you know what? We see this, we're getting into manipulation tactics in this call. It's kind of funny, but we see this in corporate, right? Corporate does this with golden handcuffs and all of this stuff where they, I don't know how many friends who have stuck with a job that they despise, that is sucking the life out of their existence because they're getting some freaking bonus in 6 months that they're like, well, this is destroying my life, but in 6 months I get a couple $1,000s, right? And it's so what? You're dying, But it works. If people stick around for that stuff, right? So let's take that idea, except instead of making people miserable, make people happy and also give them a reason to stick around. That sounds like a good idea, right? Tell her you're dying. Am I killing you? This is good. Yeah, right. Okay, what else are we stirring up here? This is a really fun topic. Let's keep it going. Thoughts and ideas, other things we can offer. Compliments for the people already doing good things.
I have a question and something that I'm throwing around, but haven't executed on yet for me. So I don't know if it's giving them here's 5 free passes to give out to people in your networks that you want to invite in, or you know, you get a discount if you use a promo code in their name. Like, I don't know, but I'm thinking, how can I leverage some of that strong retention that I've been having? And I don't know if anyone's ever done anything like that, but if you have, I'd love some ideas, because I don't want to like make more work for them either. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I've seen people do X amount off of your rent for every new member that you bring in, and then another amount if they stick around for 6 months afterwards. So a retention reward as well.
We do $50 for every person that's referred. We also have an annual community fee, so we've built that fee partially to be able to reward off of that fee so that it doesn't cost us money. So if someone only, because every person pays that $150 annual community fee, so 50 of it would go to that member. We also do have 3-day pass cards that we give out to our members so that we can track. They've got a blank space. Let me see if I can.
Hang
They
on.
have a blank space.
Yep.
Where they can put their name. So like I give them out at events that I do. So notice it's got my initials and the date. I do that so I can track it. But this way, if someone comes in with this 3-day pass and it came from so-and-so, we know who it came from. So like, it's just a business card. We kind of did a little bit of a promo thing on it and made it really simple and easy.
Nice. I'll just add, if you can create urgency around that offering, that's going to make a big difference. You know, so if you can, even like Tamara's card, if that card said like next work sprint is, and then like the date, you know, just because like it's really easy to take like a freebie day pass card and have it rot on a shelf, which is like better than nothing. Certainly, really good start. But if it said like, you know, join for the next work sprint, you know, and like go here to the website to learn when it's coming up, maybe something that way you can have it sitting in a pile and hand it to people, but there's still an implied urgency.
So don't order 2,500 of them.
Okay.
When you order them. So, but those are, I mean, seriously, I've had them for a year, so we're almost done with them and about to rework them. And I will be adding some other things for sure. The first time you do something, you learn all the things you should have done. So thank you, Tony. I agree with you.
Yeah, I had a member ask if they could take something like that and raffle it off for their Instagram followers or whatever too, which I think would be fine. Like as long as they're not making money off of it, if that makes sense. I think I'm okay with however they want to give them away. But yeah, I didn't think I'd have to put rules around it, but I guess there's that.
I think I still have some punch card day passes from 2008 sitting in a closet somewhere. Good stuff. Great. This is a good topic. What else do you want to talk about in terms of the funnel? Any thoughts in terms of your kind of 1, 2, 3 punch of which program you would want to do as the free, and then the hook, and then the close? I know that some of you are working on recruiting members and working on creating this program. So like Penny, for example, you've already got some of this programming that you're doing. So do you have thoughts in terms of kind of how you want that pipeline to go? Or Lauren, even.
Yeah, one of my thoughts.
You guys are just getting started. So I'm curious how, what your thought process is as far as your new, getting this started from zero. Sorry, Penny, I asked you first. Sorry.
One of my thoughts is this whole thing keeps evolving, but since I'm going to be a co-working space for therapists, I was thinking, okay, I've got my 5 or 6 therapy offices, and then I've got this co-working space, but I wasn't really thinking about giving out a day pass. I was thinking either people would have, like, they'd subscribe for maybe 1 time a week, so 4 times a month, or unlimited, but I hadn't really thought about day passes. I wasn't sure how that would be applicable, but I see with what you guys are talking about today, I really need to have day passes, because then I need to be able to give away a day pass, and I need to be able to kind of incentivize people by giving that away. And then, if you come by this date, you're going to, I need to have a day pass, don't I?
Yeah, I think it's a handy construct.
Okay.
Lauren, it looked like you were getting ready to say something.
No, I'm just gonna say I have to jump off right at the top of the hour for another call, but in general, where we're at is my partner and I, Adam, we're feeling great about business plan and strategy and financial model, and we're getting ready to, or had started diving right into real estate and kind of put the pause button on and realized we need to spend a lot more time on community building strategies. So this has been very, very helpful in terms of what appeals to me, what doesn't. And yeah, I'll keep joining. So I'm going to hop off in order to get the next call, but it was nice meeting you all, and talk to you next week.
Very glad to hear that, Lauren. Thanks so much. Have a good call. And I suppose that means that we're at the top of the hour as well. Hey, Jen, any quick things you want to share about Juicy? Anything that you, any like major takeaway that you're excited about aside from the mega inspiration that you got? Maybe any particularly successful boss lady entrepreneurs that inspired you and at the conference?
Amy Nelson from The Riveter. You know, it was during her talk during the panel when I literally got like a goosebumps tingling moment thinking, you know, 'cause she just raised $20 million and her goal is to open 100 locations. And I got this thunderbolt and I was like, well, yeah, I can do that too. I'm going to do that. Why wouldn't I do that? So that was that alone, the Juicy ticket was worth it. But no, it's if you've never gone, it's so just wonderful to see all these people in real life. And I think even more so than the panels and the formal programming, it's just almost all the side conversations that you have in the hallway and during happy hour. Those are enormously helpful. And then, like I said, staying at the Women Who Co-work House was really wonderful. And that's just a group of women to watch. They're about to dive into something called iFund Women. So it's a crowdsource platform that I've kind of been toying with, and they're going to do a pilot program for us. They're going to go through it and see how it is and report back and doing a little reconnaissance. So that alone is something that I'm super looking forward to. So yeah, good times. I don't know, did I miss anything, Tony?
Oh, you know, I mean, it's a whole conference, so there's plenty, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that you shared that, and I'm so excited for your journey. I'm glad that you got that inspiration. And if you want to build an empire, then I'm very excited for us to be along with you for that ride.
It'll happen. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Y'all, it's been a pleasure. And we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, keep being awesome. Keep doing good things. Bye.